baby shark.
In case you're wondering.
Hey guys, I'm Chris.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Amber. Hello.
Hey. And we want to welcome you to another episode of In Case You Were Wondering.
And guess what? Vicky's back.
Vicky's back. I know you guys
Look at
wondered where
that.
she went. We didn't knock her off or lose her someplace.
Also, before you guys even say anything, yes, we have another episode that's out. You should see it premiering pretty soon. And that's also another one with me and Dad. And that's it. And there's going to be a later series that's going to be my mom and Vicky. So check out for that when that comes out.
Right.
I don't
You
know
guys
when.
are going to see a lot of our family in different kind of change ups a little bit. Just get used to it. The fun thing about this being a family podcast, you never really know who's going to be sitting on the couch or behind the camera. I will say I've been really, really excited about this reaction video that we're doing here today over X-Men 97, episode 5. You guys know it. This is the episode that everybody is talking about.
Definitely.
And I will say, we've already watched the clip that we're going to show you here in a second, but this really is the moment, I think, that we just all sat here going,
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. I really feel like this entire episode is really framed around the two separate love triangles, right?
Yeah.
At the mansion, the first love triangle that we're introduced to is the love triangle with Cyclops and Jean and Wolverine. What did you think about that beginning part here of the episode?
I was surprised that Jean kissed Wolverine.
I was not surprised. It was funny though that Cyclops having Madeline Pryor in his head, that Jean was so mad about that, and then she goes and kisses Wolverine.
Yeah, it's the revenge kiss, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, like when... Sorry. But when I was going and watching that scene, I was like, that's kind of weird, because even Wolverine was like, I don't think you should do that. He even was like...
And this is coming from...
But it's just that I thought it was like kind of funny in a way, because it's like Wolverine was like so over... Just Wolverine normally is...
happy to be around Jean.
Yes, happy to be around Madeline Pryor to Jean Grey, but it's just that, like, when it goes from, you know, the backstory of Jean and Cyclops, and then it went from, like, Wolverine doing, like, that glare eye, like, oh, I don't think you should do that.
I think we've underestimated just how broken both Cyclops and Jean are. Jean doesn't know who she is. She's really searching for something. And the one thing I think that Jean always thought she could depend upon was her relationship with Cyclops. And that relationship is broken. And on the other side, I think Cyclops, we see it come out. He's interviewing. He's being interviewed. And in the midst of all of that, she brings up his son.
And he was trying not to bring it up.
He blows up on her.
Yeah.
The one person who's really trying to show a positive light on the X-Men and making them seem like real people in a sympathetic light, and Cyclops blows up at her. And I think we see this war kind of brewing here at the X-Mansion there with Cyclops, Jean, and Wolverine. I think that is an interesting connection with what happens with Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit in Genosha. What were they there in Genosha to do?
So there was a kind of like a dance ball kind of thing going on, and then Magneto and Rogue were going together, supposedly?
So it was to celebrate the idea that, you know, they are now being seen as people. You know, it was to say, like, this is the dream that Professor X had, you know, a long time ago.
Right. I mean, and the idea also is that Genosha was going to be recognized by the UN as a mutant sanctuary. And so, you know, it was a very happy... I should have known that when they started playing Ace of Base.
Yeah.
That something bad was going to happen.
Like,
right? Things were just too shiny and happy and optimistic and positive, and they never do that in a show unless they're ready to like yank that out from underneath of us. We had that quick introduction, kind of like out of nowhere. Cable pops up right there in front of Madeline Pryor. Now, the last time Madeline Pryor had seen Cable, he had been a baby, and she was sending him off into the future. He shows up just long enough to say, "Oh no, not again." And it's like he's letting us know, okay, this is like a Groundhog Day moment, and I'm too late to stop it. And that's really kind of where the clip
that we're about to watch,
that we're gonna watch, where that comes from. If you haven't seen this, really brace yourself. It is the craziest. It's the part that really broke us. All right, don't say I didn't warn you. Let's go.
Gambit, see your bet and raise it.
Oh, I can't watch.
No.
But the cards always be in my favor.
Man, I never thought that I would see something like this again.
Gambit.
Right?
Mon ami.
And this right here, this move, I mean, I think we all knew that he could do it. I mean, he blew up that entire Master Mold. That's crazy.
Sugar. I can't feel you.
It always gets to me. It's
Oh,
so
God.
sad.
Right? It's just insane. I mean, I think that number one, Gambit, they gave Gambit this powerful moment where he's like, he's telling this Master Mold Sentinel that had been wiping people out, he's like, the name's Gambit, remember it. Right? And that really is like the title of the entire episode. We kind of knew like he was making the sacrifice play. That he knew he was going to die, but he was going to take that Master Mold Sentinel with him. But that's crazy. Gambit is such a major character in the show, and I think so often we get so used to these characters being put in dangerous situations and always finding a way to survive that it's just shocking when you see someone like Gambit get impaled by a Sentinel and die.
Yeah.
And then, what did you guys think?
It's not a happy scene.
No.
It's just that, like, it went from listening to Ace of Base to torture. It's like,
It happened fast, didn't it?
almost everybody that I talked to about, like, what was going on in this episode was all of them were fans of Gambit from
Yeah.
the comic books. So they were bawling,
He's always been that character that he has the sass, he has the one-liners, he's, basically the big brother of all of X-Men, and he makes sure that his final words is, like, kind of badass. I've always kind of wanted, in my own personal opinion, if I had to die in a tragic way, I want my last words to be kind of badass.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he yelled, Geronimo, right? Or remember the Alamo. I mean, he knew this was going to be it for him. There was no coming back from it. And I guess I've always thought of Gambit to be a bit of a game player.
yeah.
Just like he liked playing cards, there was this idea of risk, but that he would always find a way to kind of slip through things and be a survivor. And I think here was a moment where he had the opportunity to run away, and yet he ran headlong into it instead. And then that heartbreaking moment. If losing Gambit wasn't enough, having Rogue lying there on the ground, cradling his dead body and going, I can't feel you, sugar. I can't feel
Dad.
you.
Oh.
I can't.
All right, you guys got to forgive me on my southernism.
But I think, like, we've had this whole conversation, like, the whole triangle was because Rogue felt like Magneto was the only person that she can have a connection with.
And when another person that she finally got a connection with, she can't touch him without either getting his abilities or...
What's crazy, though, is that Rogue had essentially chosen Gambit. Even though she couldn't touch him, she chose Gambit over marrying Magneto and essentially becoming queen of Genosha. That was huge. The idea that she loses all of that at the end.
Well, like, honestly, in my own personal opinion, I'd choose Rogue, or I'd choose Gambit.
You choose Rogue? Of course
yeah,
you choose Rogue.
I'd choose Rogue.
Big shocker there, Vicky.
I choose, Gambit over Magneto any day. Because, like, again, one-liners,
I mean,
the whole time he's like, one dance with you is worth, dying.
I mean, Magneto is, like, at least twice as old as Gambit.
Yes.
Maybe 3 times.
Yes.
I don't know how old Gambit's supposed to be. Not that old. Whereas, again, Magneto has qualified as a member of the AARP for a long time.
Real possibilities.
I know. We really meant this to be a quick episode.
Yes.
There were 2 things, however, that I want to make sure we don't miss. Number 1 is Cable. Cable's words, "not again," tells me, okay, Groundhog Day. That, and it's not the first time that we've seen this time loop. Cable's in this time loop. He's trying to save his mother, Madeline Pryor. He's trying to save the X-Men. He's trying to stop this massacre in Genosha, and it sounds to me like he's failed at it a number of times. This is going to get crazy before it gets better, right? The other thing is, do you think Magneto was going to be satisfied as a puppet figurehead in Genosha?
No.
Magneto doesn't like to share power. And I think that while he's been playing X-Men and at least publicly trying to carry on the mantle of Xavier and his ideology about mutant-human coexistence, you know what they say about a leopard not changing their spots? It would be a very Magneto thing to do, to set this whole thing up, to provoke an attack, so that Magneto could then respond in kind, right? We've been attacked. We have the right to defend ourselves and get revenge. And then, not only would Magneto be able to become the leader, but he would be more of a dictator.
Yeah.
And nobody would call him a puppet of anyone.
Yeah. I'm going to take your word for it because you've read the comics, but we always know Magneto as somebody who takes nothing from nobody. And so I do see where you're coming from there, and I think that that's a very good thing to look forward to see in the next episodes. But I also like the idea that we have like different avenues for everything here. We are in the Groundhog's Day idea, and we are in the Groundhog's Day idea with Cable. Are we gonna get the old-fashioned like backward, X2, going backward and then getting that scene all over again in certain episodes? This is something that we just have to wait and see for the next episode. So now that we kind of gone through what we like about the episode, I'd like to say thank you so much for listening to...
Yes.
In case you were wondering.
Yeah, tell us how you felt. Were you as broken as we were by that scene? I know that was
Write
a
it down
crazy
below,
thing.
or if you thought another scene was weirder, let us know and we can react to it.
Right, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. All right, hey guys, as always, I'm Chris.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Amber.
We're, in case you were wondering, signing off.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
In case you were wondering.
Be good.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Don't be blue. Be good.
That's funny.
Oh.
That's our
Or
bull at
holy.
the end.
Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
What? Enthusiastic. I can't say my words.
Try it again.
Enthusiastic.
You can do it, Amber.